welcome to part 12.3 of Nuclear Dragon. If you encounter any issues or have feedback, please let me know in the comments rather than just disliking the video. Your input helps me improve, and I'm here to make sure you have the best experience possible. Enjoy the content.
Chapter 296. At this point, the general paused blankly. It seems to be waiting for the audience to digest the news. Do you think I'm joking? No. This is a fact, and there are definitely not a few demons. Everyone, please take a look. That's it for the general. The screen jumped and appeared in a closed secret room. The whole secret room is not too big, only about 100 square meters, and the secret room is as bright as daylight. A strange creature is hiding in the corner of the secret room. It is very strange, with very big eyes, bigger than a normal light bulb, pointed ears, extremely thin and wrinkled skin, like a little old man. He didn't wear any clothes, he was naked. He didn't have any male and female characteristics, his head was bare, and there were several holes in the back that were spraying light blue gas around it. Suddenly a voice sounded from the room. Coolly, coolly. Huh. The monster in the picture raised his head. What do you want me to do? Didn't you say it was done before? I cooperated with your research and let me go? It's been a few days now. I'm a real human being. My parents are great X stars and stripes. You can't imprison me like this. The little monster roared excitedly. We know that you are a citizen of the Union, but in your current state, we cannot release you. It will cause social chaos and uneasiness. Recall, how do ordinary people react when they see you? They just don't know my friendliness. Give me some time, and I will let them understand that I am not scary at all. Damn it. Keep me here every day. Do you treat me like a monkey? The little monster was extremely angry and jumped up with a swish. The smooth glass wall around it made a loud noise and was hit hard. The speed is so fast that most people can't see clearly. When they heard the sound and reacted, the little monster was already flying out by the glass bomb. Boom, boom, boom rolled down to the ground. Damn it. Let me go. I don't want to stay here. My parents are both former stars and stripes. They are the best alliance members. You can't do this to me. The little monster roared. Hit the glass wall one after another. The speed of the screen is slowing down. 1/2 speed, 1/4 speed, 1/8 speed. Everyone can clearly see the impact speed of the little monster. This is faster than the average Tier 7 fighters. As far as the current fighters in human reality, no one can reach this level. Then the screen turned again and turned to a monster like a spider. This is a monster with a human upper body and a spider on the lower body. It is not quite right to say that his upper body is human. At least his head is not like a normal person. The original part of the eyes became 8 pairs of eyes, blood red and blood red. The front half of the arm consists of a scythe. The entire human component is probably only the neck, shoulders, and so on. Each of his 8 spider legs is the size of a human thigh. At this time, this terrifying monster was beating the glass surface with his feet and sickle arm desperately in front of the glass wall. I don't know what the glass is made of, but there is no sign of damage. The spider monster roared inside. Damn mortal. Let me go. Otherwise, the army of demons will destroy you all. There are some other monsters still clamoring after being imprisoned. The king of the dragon will surely come to this world, turning all mortals into demonized new humans, and so on. After turning the monster screen 7 or 8 times, finally move the screen back to the general. Citizens of the Alliance. Have everyone seen the horror of the demons? Not only do they look scary, but their thoughts have also entered an extremely dangerous state, and they are even different from ordinary humans. Become a new species. Now let me talk about how to distinguish and look for demonized people around me. Because of the sudden change, their appearance is no longer the same as ours. At this time, if someone covers their body all the time when they go out, or simply hides in the room for a long time, they go to work and ask for leave for various reasons, these may be demonized people. Please pay attention to those around you. Report the suspicious person to the nearest neighborhood immediately after you find the suspicious person, and jointly safeguard the world order and future. Until this moment, the video has finished playing. See? Brother How? What do you do now? The servants downstairs might start to doubt you. Xiaoli looked worried. As I have personally experienced Hao Ge's powerful Xiaoli, I don't want Hao Gu to have an accident at all. Even in the bottom of her heart, she actually hoped that men all over the world would be demonized, so that men would become diverse, with various styles. Maybe you can experience an unprecedented feeling. Oh. Shillong responded indifferently. Then he glanced at the entire villa. Although Brother Hao's body was far more convenient than his own body, he could see through. But it's not bad. The line of sight can also penetrate ordinary objects. He glanced at the scene like an infrared night vision device and frowned slightly. The villa is very large, especially including the entire fenced garden. The villas, or manors, occupy tens of thousands of square meters. At the gate, several cars stopped impressively. Several figures, like servants, made up of red lines, were talking to 30 or 40 others. Finally, the leader on the other side nodded and made a wave of hands. A total of 30 or 40 people separated in an instant. 7 or 8 people divided into 4 quarters, surrounded the villas and hid on the branches of trees, holding their weapons and aiming at the villa. Half of the others guarded the edge. A dozen people followed behind the servants and marched towards the villa. Seeing this, Xylem looked back. You worry too much. Xiaoli's expression was dazed. Brother Hao, at this time, do you still think you are safe? Before I went down, I felt it completely. The servants looked at me with infinite suspicion and looked at the direction of your room. I believe you. Xylem replied. It's just that they have already come. It should be the security manager of this world, or the army. What? Xiaoli was shocked. Brother Hao, how did you know this? Of course it's useful. Look, my eyes are not different from yours. I can see outside. Brother Hao, tell me, what color underwear am I wearing now? Xiaoli's face turned straight and suddenly asked. Shillong frowned, his mouth twitching slightly. Purple. Really, really. Xiaoli muttered to himself. Then you are finished? Brother Hao, are you going to be taken away too? Oh, I don't want you to have an accident. What can I do without you? As she was talking, she actually started to cry. Does this woman really like the original owner of the body? How sad to cry. Shillong was surprised. But soon, the other party made a black line in the next sentence. Brother Hao, my body can't live without you. I need Brother Hao every day. So this is Shillong's eyes turned, and he saw an arm helper right next to him. It is estimated that Brother Hao would exercise for a little time before. At this time, he picked it up and handed it to Xiaoli. You will use it, I going out? Don't worry, I will be fine. After finishing speaking, he ignored the somewhat sluggish Xiaoli, go straight out of the room door, then walked down the stairs very indifferently. When they came downstairs, several servants who were still cleaning up saw Shillong and screamed. One of them pointed to Shillong and tremblingly said, Magic, magic, magic man, human enemy. At this moment, a group of soldiers in gray costumes walked into the spacious hall under the leadership of the servants. The moment they saw Shillong, all the soldiers' expressions immediately became solemn, and while standing slightly apart, they raised their weapons and aimed at Shillong's head. If Shillong moved slightly at this time, I believe these soldiers would pull the trigger without hesitation. Devil, you are already surrounded. If you still think that you are a human in your heart, it is best not to make senseless resistance. Part 2. A leading leader shouted, and a middle-aged man next to him looked at Shillong and suddenly asked, Are you, Master Tianhao? You can think so. Shillong replied. Sure enough, something happened when you locked yourself in the room every day. Sorry, Master, I didn't find out in time, and then I rescued you on the road to mankind. Master, you should surrender yourself. I will tell the Master about the matter. With the energy of the Master in this world, you can definitely keep the Master safe. The middle-aged man blamed himself. Why do you refuse to evolve? As long as you enter the world of Dora's tomb, you can obtain safe and stable evolution without life-threatening. Do you know how many people dream of this? It is so stupid to refuse the rare opportunity that mankind has held for billions of years. Surrendering to the Dragon Soren Soderberg is the correct choice for humans. Shillong grinned and said lightly with a smile, Master, are you crazy? How can you say such a thing? Look at yourself. Do you still look like a human? The Master will be angry when he sees it. The middle-aged butler is a little angry. Stupid. Xylem shook his head, raised one foot slightly, and wanted to take a step forward. The soldier leader who surrounded him immediately shouted, Stop, otherwise we will shoot. Guns? Xylem looked at the machinery in their hands, which was indeed similar to Blue Star's guns. These toys can't deal with me. As the voice fell, Shillong slowly stepped on his foot. The air in the entire space seems to be freezing. Everyone's eyes focused on Shillong's feet. The sound of the big foot landing was exceptionally clear at this time. Fire. With a roar, all Union soldiers pulled the trigger. Boom, 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 boom. Chop, chop, chop. Shuzo. The roar of various guns ignited a series of fires. The bullet roared and shot toward Shillong. Then there was a constant clanging sound. Don't wait for the soldiers to show their relief after hitting. The demonized person in front of them twisted his neck slightly, then turned his back. He pointed at his shoulder armor with his sharp claw-like fingers. Come on. Hit here. It's kind of itchy. Words with endless contempt sounded. The soldiers' complexions were flushed red. The triggers they pulled were not released at all, but the firearms that fired up and down were still useless. This had to make them suspect that there was a problem with their eyes. Damn demonized man. Don't be too arrogant. The soldier captain roared. 3657 super armor-piercing fires immediately. With this roar fell. Boom. Almost instantly. The two walls that lined up with Shillong were blasted open by a huge force. A large amount of dust, fog, and rubble erupted, causing everyone in the hall to temporarily lose sight. Almost at the same time, there was a whoosh sound, and the soldiers felt a violent wind swept past them, and many people were almost blown down. What? A scream sounded from outside the villa. Soon one after another screams rang out. Hearing these screams, all the soldiers present felt ominous. Quick, get out. The captain roared again, and a group of soldiers rushed out and came outside the villa, which was approaching evening. But everyone is not an ordinary person, and their eyesight is very good. At a glance, they can see that the soldiers who originally guarded the edge to prevent the target demonized person from escaping, as well as the soldiers who were about to ambush on the branches of the tree, fell to the ground. 3,657. 3,658. 3,687. Hey, hey! The soldier captain yelled. Seeing this scene, his eyes were cracking. But none of these brothers who usually train together can respond. Sa! A sound of breaking through the air sounded. A black figure that was taller than the soldier captain appeared behind him and enveloped him. A voice that made the soldier's captain's hair stand up. Don't worry. Go to hell. When the voice rang behind them, all the soldiers quickly turned around and pulled the trigger. Bang bang. A series of bullets sounded, almost against Shillong's shot at zero range. Ah! The soldiers roared, but the bullet did not become more powerful because of his roar. The hateful demonized person just stared at them with a calm expression. What are you doing so excited? I didn't kill them, but your weapon just now was quite dangerous and you couldn't ignore it, so I had to let him sleep for a while. Damn, why can the demonized person be so strong again? The soldiers couldn't understand. The guns in their hands are the most advanced weapons. With extremely balanced power, rate of fire, range, continuous shooting ability, the absolute king of rifles. Even those fighters of tier 6 can be killed with just 1 or 2 bullets as long as they hit. And the one he dealt with before, claiming to be a 7th order steel demonized person. The arrogant thinks he has a steel skin to resist bullets. The results of it? Hasn't it been beaten by bullets one by one? Almost crippled? Such a powerful weapon has no effect at all against Duan Tianhao's demonized monster? This monster? What level is it? They were shocked and terrified. But Shillong obviously won't answer their questions. Are you afraid of me? This is normal. When humans deal with enemies that they cannot match, fear is the most normal behavior. I can understand you, after all, I was a human before. A human being as ordinary as you. But now I am not. It's the monster you fear. Even if I haven't hurt you yet, you still fear me. Uneasy? Horror? If you want to get rid of this fear, just get stronger. Accept the power of the true of the world, Soren Soderbergh, the dragon god. Go to the world of Dora's tomb. Go to the pure white pothole and pursue that power. Shillong's words were like magic sounds, which made people terrifying, but at the same time they seemed to be magical, guiding their desires. Monster! We will never become non-human like you. The captain roared. Even if there were no bullets, he still did not give up the attack on Shillong. He rushed forward and punched, and kicked Shillong, who was half his body taller. Get a good night's sleep. You'll want to understand. While Shillong spoke, he waved his right arm, and the other soldiers could not see what was happening. They saw the captain fall down. Then everyone else felt a pain in the back of their neck, and they all fell down. At this point, the manor was considered quiet. Many of the servants hid inside and dared not come out, but 2 also walked out of the villa and came to Shillong. One is Shaoli, and the other is a middle-aged butler. Shaoli looked at Brother Hao and said sadly, Brother Hao, can't you take me away with you? How can I live without you? I was up there just now. Didn't I give you an arm stick? This is not enough? Silum frowned. I don't want that kind of thing. I just want your brother Hao. Shaoli was blushing slightly when Silum said in front of the housekeeper. She stomped her feet shyly. Huh, wishful thinking. Silum snorted coldly. The figure flashed again. Shaoli also stepped into the footsteps of the soldiers and fell to the ground. Master, are you really not going to surrender? This way, you have been working against the alliance. If things are getting bigger, the master may not be able to save you. The middle-aged man was a little worried. You take that woman and take care of it. You don't need to worry about Binlong's affairs. Shillong said unceremoniously. After speaking, the figure disappeared in a flash. Hey, the young master's demonization resulted in mental problems, and instead of treating himself as a human, he called himself a dragon. The middle-aged housekeeper shook his head helplessly. The demonized people are indeed sick. Master, you are very sick. Since Shillong left Hao Ji's villa, he didn't even want to hide himself. He used Brother Hao's body and began to wander around. Brother Hao's villa was in the outskirts. It was evening again. Under the dim sky, a red-scaled dragon was slowly walking towards the city. Part 3. Occasionally, when passing pedestrians saw Shillong, they quickly ran away from him. But there are a few who are not afraid of death. A car is following him on his right. Shillong just glanced sideways and found a beautiful woman in the passenger seat on the right, looking at him with excitement, her mobile phone hanging from a pole. While shooting him, he kept talking excitedly. My darlings, Have you seen it? Demonized people in reality. Have you seen the news from the entire network just now? I heard that this is the enemy of mankind. The scary kind. You say, should I turn around and run now? Or should I go up for an interview? This woman didn't mean to be scared at all, and she interacted with the audience in her live broadcast room with an excited expression. Obviously, this woman is an anchor. A beauty anchor. As for what to broadcast, does this matter? Beauty anchor. Just look pretty. Anyway, anyone will watch whatever you want. A few words of interaction with the audience can make his dog's beauties. Even if the live broadcast is squatting, maybe more people will watch it. Lily, run. Please. Demonized people have heard that their brains are abnormal. What can I do if I hurt you? A licking dog in the live broadcast room worried. The anchor goes up and strikes up a conversation. Interview. Look at how cool and handsome the demonized person in front is. When you strike up a conversation, pay attention to the rocket. Some people are afraid of not being chaotic. Run, run, go up and kill him. Let him betray the humans. Anchor. Quickly pick up your 98K. Blast the brain of that human traitor. Don't do anything, just follow it. See what this demonized person wants to do. Barrage in the live broadcast room flew randomly. The beautiful anchor named Lily was dazzled. Yeah, babies have too many opinions, and they have taken my eyes off. So let's deduct 1 for the anchor to escape, 2 for the anchor to go up and interview, and the anchor to keep shooting like this. 3. Let me see everyone's enthusiasm. Lily finished. Then see the full screen 222 floating by. Oh, what is this full screen 2? Don't you all love your baby? Lily pretended to be sad, but immediately he chuckled again. Since everyone says so, then Lily, it's better to be respectful. Hee. What they said before is also human. I don't know that my beauty will not work. Lily is very confident. She was a beautiful girl since she was a child, and there is always no shortage of licking dogs around her. She grew up surrounded by flowers, and because of this, let her develop conceit of her beauty. In her opinion, men are all dicks. As long as they show a slight affection for them, they will lick her crazy. There have been several incidents related to her before. The legendary will remember the door. I heard that Lily had a few conversations with the other party, so she took away the soul that would remember and embezzled the company's 5 million alliance coins to reward Lily. Some married men even called Lily all the savings at home, so that they finally got divorced. As for whether they have tasted Lily's lips, it's not enough for outsiders to know Wuxia World. Online she is so beautiful. She feels that God gave her this face to harm the world's men. If the beauty is valuable, she thinks her beauty is worth 10 billion. She asked her dog-licking driver to speed up a bit and came to Shillong. Originally, the driver didn't dare to approach Shillong, who knew he was not easy to provoke. But he couldn't bear Lily's big brother. When this sound fell, the driver's brother felt his soul drifting up. As soon as he stepped on the accelerator, he came to Shillong. Hi. Hello. Are you a demonized person? It feels so cool. I have never seen a demonized person in reality. Can you make a friend with me? Lily smiled. Do you like this site? Donate here. Chapter 297. Shillong glanced at her without stopping, and while continuing to move forward, he replied, You are so courageous? Hee. Let's not hide my eldest brother. In fact, I have a pedigree of 1/3 of the former Shillong country. Of course I am bolder. When Lily saw the other party, she seemed to be able to communicate, and she immediately became energetic. Former Shillong country? The corner of Shillong's mouth was slightly cocked. Because it is the age of alliances, all previous countries have to add a prefix. And Shillong nation, before the alliance was established, but a race of berserkers per capita, even before the world of Dora's tomb, would dare to fight the bear, a powerful human being like the king of land warfare. Yeah. Lily stretched out her arms and made a shape showing her muscles. Then another chest said, Big brother, have you seen it? This is the strength of the bear. She is trying to show her cuteness and honesty, because according to her years of experience in understanding men, most men like this kind of women. Poor and weak. The smile at the corner of Shillong's mouth immediately turned into a sneer. You dare to call yourself the power of a bear? Sad woman. You have not even gained a little bit of power from the world of Dora's tomb. Such a poor and weak you have the courage to appear in front of me? Huh. Lily was dumbfounded. Why does this big brother turn his face so fast? Can't you hear me acting like a baby? Big brother. What do we women do with such strong power? As long as there is a man to protect us. I think the eldest brother is very strong. Are you interested in being my personal bodyguard? You can pay whatever you want. Lily blinked her eyes with a look of charm. The accent is deliberately added to the word next to the body, which seems to imply something. Huh. The beauty you want. No matter which body it is, as long as the soul is dominated by me, you women will never have any chance. Shillong snorted coldly. Lily was dumbfounded again. It was not that she had never encountered someone who was not moved by her beauty. but they have never been so direct, and looked at her with a look of garbage. What made her even more unacceptable was the other party's next words. According to your human aesthetics, you may look good, but it is too superficial. Your human beauty, the shelf life is only more than 10 years. It is short and pitiful. Only power. It is the most beautiful thing in the world. Without power, you are just like an ant. You can be pinched to death at will. May I ask you to make friends with an ant? Would you like? Shillong said coldly. When these words were spoken, not only did Lily feel that there was something wrong with Siro's brain, but even the audience found that it seemed that there was indeed something wrong with the demonized person's head. Although this demonized person has not hurt anyone so far, but there are many audiences who remind Lily to call the city guard. Lily is now a little autistic by what Shillong said. She silently followed Shillong and filmed, and didn't want to talk anymore. And even if Shillong was followed up like this, he was still very indifferent. When I walked into the city, there were not many vehicles going back and forth on the road. Those cars that had to pass by Shillong turned around and ran. On the street, there were not many pedestrians. Just like a car, they ran away when they saw Shillong. Few stores that were supposed to be open are still open. It seems that the general's announcement before is quite useful, and now most people are afraid of demons. The strange women who have been hanging behind are only a few of the few. Just as Shillong thought about it, he saw a drunkard. His clothes were a bit messy, leaning on a telephone pole, drunkly looking at everything on the road. When he saw Shillong, he stared straight at him, and Shillong also looked at each other silently. What do you look at? Are you looking down on me? The drunkard shouted to Shillong with heavy drunkenness. The momentum is very strong, and he is not afraid of Shillong's demonization. Lily, who had already parked and photographed, looked at each other in admiration. Since she personally felt that the demonized person's brain was abnormal, she didn't dare to talk to each other anymore. But this drunkard was incredible. Drinking wine is like lousy's posture #1 in the world. What I said is full of provocation. I won't be killed, right? Lily secretly glanced at the barrage on the live broadcast. I'm going. This drunk is so courageous. How dare to talk to this demonized person who has a pit in his head? That's called the daring of a high-level artist. Maybe someone is a masterpiece? Squinting smile. I hate drunks the most. Now, I am looking forward to the demonized man punching the drunk to death. Everyone thought there was a good show. But Shillong didn't get any anger at the other party's words, and still stared at the other party indifferently. You bastard. Are you laughing at me? It must be so. Are you laughing at me being dumped by a woman? You must think I am a licking dog, right? The drunkard growled loudly at Shillong, looking very unstable. Everywhere I am a licking dog. You guessed it. I am a licking dog. The drunk burped and laughed miserably. But, I don't allow you to underestimate the profession of dog licking. You don't understand the joy and fun of licking a dog. The licked woman can't predict whether we will lick her next. There will be insecurity. Once lost, it will definitely collapse. Unable to accept reality. We lick the dog. Whether we want to lick it or not is entirely up to us. Today, which bone is cheap? Just lick it. If you are in a bad mood, then go fuck. Can you understand this sense of control? Know every day to despise licking dogs? You know what a fart. The drunkard roared loudly. Shillong and Lily, as well as the driver's eldest brother, did not say anything. There was silence all around, and they were all startled by this drunkard's words. The driver's eldest brother let his eyes off even more. Isn't this man too reasonable? Is dog licking such an advanced and awesome profession? Hateful. Those before dared to laugh at me and lick Lily. Humph. As everyone knows, I just like that sense of control. But Lily felt that this man was really a talent. He was obviously a lowly licking dog. It was not easy to be able to hypnotize himself like this. Sure enough, it is 360 rows, and it is a top pick. Look at this licking dog, all licking experience. She took the time to glance at the barrage. Well, a sound of echoing. This is not to blame them. If they are not stupid, how can they lick me? Shillong still looked at each other for a long time before saying, Then can you tell me, why are you now like this? The man as he said, and as he said, he burst into tears. Originally it was all good. You become a low-level licking dog? I'm in a trap. Into a woman's suit. I now have no money, no people. Oh. The more the man talked, the more sad he was, crying on the side of the road. I thought you were an individual, but I didn't expect it to be so. Shillong shook his head. A mortal. If you want to change your destiny, you should demonize. Only by having power. Can you have the future? Power? The drunk man muttered to himself. Yes, it's power. Boom. Just as Shillong's voice fell, a bar not far away suddenly exploded. A long chimpanzee rushed out of it. He was hugging a woman tightly under him. This woman is very fashionable and looks very beautiful. But at this moment, the woman's face was flushed. She was caught under the armpit of the orangutan. Monster! You monster! Let go of me! The woman screamed. I'm not a monster. I'm your man. You stinky bitch. Part 2. You keep carrying me to the bar to find men thinking I don't know? Didn't you always say that my brother is young? Lao Tzu now wants you to see whether Lao Tzu is young or not. Does it last? The demonized man who looked like an ape roared loudly. The woman was taken aback, and she was shocked for a while before she said, You? Are you Mingda? It's Lao Tzu. You bastard. Didn't you always despise me before? Now I want to make you look good. The orangutan growled. Mingda. You are actually Mingda? Oh, Mingda. You are so strong now. You told me that you became like this. How could I come to the bar? Go home now. I can't wait. The woman's voice is full of surprises. This directly caused the orangutan who was holding her running wildly to stop in place. Shillong and Lily were not far from them, and they could clearly see that the big eyes of the orangutans were full of incredible. He looked at the woman under his arm blankly and said, You? Don't you dislike me becoming like this? Are you not afraid of me? My little fool. How could I be afraid of you? Love you in no hurry. Look at how majestic and mighty you are now. Look at the back of the tiger. Look at the waist of the bear. The woman said as she stroked the body of the demonized person with her hand. At the end of the day, Shillong and Lily even saw each other's saliva flow. After coming down, fortunately, the reaction was quick, and she was sucked back directly. Aping you. So you still love me. Even if you become like this, you still love me. I misunderstood you. The demonized man with the appearance of the orangutan was overjoyed. He ran away with his own mother-in-law. Shillong looked at the back of the other person in a daze. Lily and the driver's brother did the same. But at this time, the driver's eldest brother seemed to be a little confused, and he kept murmuring something. Magic? Magic still has this usefulness. Why didn't I think about it? Don't women just like mighty and mighty? Lily gave him a horrified look after hearing the driver's mutter. Brother, don't you take it seriously? There are really few women in this world who can speak to demonized people like orangutans. You should wake up. Have you not seen all kinds of strange demonized people? Gender conversion is a trivial matter. What if you become a sexless weirdo? Alas, but there are also very good changes. For example, this one in front of me. Lily glanced at Shillong secretly. Well, this look is much better than those scum. At least I can. Such a pity. This demonized person has a problem with his brain. Don't understand women at all. Until the strange couple disappeared completely. There was another horrible gunfire from far to near. There was also a burst of strange bangs approaching. Until there was a bang. A large wheel that seemed to be made of iron smashed a low house. After landing, there was a loud noise, and it rolled straight to Shillong and the others. Every time it rolled, the ground made a huge bang. The speed is comparable to a car driving more than 100 yards. Ha 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 ha. Get out of here. You bastards. Don't want to touch Lousy's porcelain now. I will never give you any chance. A roar came from the iron wheel. His voice was full of resentment, and he didn't know what he had experienced before. A group of city guards armed with guns also rushed out of the smashed house. Just when they wanted to continue to aim and shoot, they were shocked, because not only was there an extra demonized person on the street, but also there are a few ordinary people. Several gun guards quickly exchanged their eyes in the void. Soldier 1. What should I do? Team leader. Hostage. Shooting now will accidentally hurt. Soldier 2. Idiot. For fear of accidental injury, he was killed directly. We are the ace soldiers of the former Stars and Stripes. Are you afraid of a few hostages? Soldier 1. Oh, to understanding. Wait. In an instant, the soldier captain yelled out when he saw the eye contact of the two soldiers. He sternly motioned everyone to look at Lily next to the car with his eyes, and instantly released his meaning with his eyes. Idiots. Did you see that? That woman is definitely an anchor. Someone is watching. What do you want to do? Soldier 2. But, Captain, we are soldiers of the former Stars and Stripes. Why should I care about this kind of thing? Idiot. We are now in the Alliance. The captain glared at Soldier 2, before suppressing their desire to continue pulling the trigger. Do you think it is still the past? Happy Stars and Stripes? Gunfight every day? The best way to save the hostages is to kill them? The captain. What about this new demonized person? A soldier couldn't help but glanced at Shillong. Don't be nervous. Demonized people are not monolithic. I guess these two will fight soon. We watch the changes. The captain motioned his eyes last. It's troublesome to say, but all the gestures in the eyes of these elite soldiers were completed within 2 seconds. This is the quality that the former elite soldiers of the Stars and Stripes who have experienced the tempering of the tomb world of Dora should have. They soon dispersed, staring at the iron wheel that crashed into Shillong. The iron wheel hit from the left side of Shillong, and Lily and the driver were on the right side of Shillong at this time. Seeing the iron wheel getting closer, Lily realized that the iron wheel was not as small as she imagined. It was already 1 meter in diameter, around 5. It hit her at a speed of 100 yards, and she couldn't help screaming. Ah! This was an exclamation that cut through the dim night sky. Bump! A huge impact sounded. Then there was a strange cry. Gah! The strange name is sharp and short, fleeting, and then there is silence. Lily, who had instinctively closed her eyes because of fear, opened her eyes and saw iron lumps on the back, whether it was the back of the head, the back, or the instep. Even the man with a metallic complexion lay on her back on the ground. The man closed his eyes tightly and seemed to pass out. The tall dragon man slowly bends down, and following his actions, the former star-tipped guards, 10 meters away, show nervousness. Everyone silently looked at the huge open palm of the dragon man, grabbed the head of the metal weird who was nearly 2 meters tall on the ground, and slowly lifted it up. Snapped. A loud slap on the face of the man who passed out. The man groaned, and when he woke up, he didn't wait for his mind to wake up. Shillong looked indifferently and said, "Are you here to touch my porcelain?" Huh. The Iron Man looked at Shillong's scaly face and cried out instinctively, "You touched the porcelain? I'm going to kill you." After the roar, his body quickly curled up, as if he wanted to enter the wheel mode just now. Pong. Another hard and quick slap slapped the Iron Man. "Ah!" he screamed again. Shillong's eyes synced slightly. "Asshole thing." The thief shouted and caught the thief on my head. "You are not brave enough." The Iron Nugget was silent. He seemed to feel that something was wrong, and his mind gradually became clear. Lily on one side looked confused. What's the situation? Then her head flashed with melon seeds. By the way, she closed her eyes instinctively, but the phone on the selfie stick did not turn off. Then glanced at the phone. "Oh, let me go. This Iron Man is really interesting. Why does he always call to touch porcelain? Has he been touched too much before? This Iron Man is so cool. It feels like Transformers. Damn, isn't your attention too weird? The point is that Dragon Man, being hit by such a fast speed, there is nothing wrong with it. This strength is very strong." Very strong? How strong is it? Don't ask. Asking is very strong. Lily, really, go home and hide. It's too dangerous outside. The barrage rolled past, and Lily saw this and understood what had just happened. But at the same time, she understood a little bit that the world seemed to be different from before. This world is really messed up. How long has it been? Just met 3 demons. A dragon looks good. At least he will not attack people casually. The orangutan robbed people in the bar before. Part 3. Look at the roadside now. The wounded haven't been gone. And now this guy who can turn into iron wheels is obviously abnormal. He actually fought with the city guards. I wanted to kill them just now. It's too dangerous. Lily wanted to evacuate. But after seeing that it has reached 2 million at this time, which is twice the number of viewers before, she can't move her legs. 2 million. If this continues, it may exceed 3 million. This year's Dosha TV sister is expected. And the guard there. They started eye contact again. Team leader. You guessed it really well. These 2 demonized people seem to be in conflict. Of course. Don't want to think about who I am. But things are still not good. That demonized person like a dragon is difficult to deal with. What to do then? Rest assured. We can be called brothers. After the eye contact, the captain of the city guard pressed a button on his waist with one hand, then smiled and nodded to the others. As expected of the captain, brother. A big misunderstanding. The Iron Man suffocated such a sentence for a while. Can't touch porcelain? Say it's a misunderstanding? Brother. Really? To tell you the truth, I had encountered porcelain 5 times before demonization. Those always appeared on my path when I was driving in a good manner. Don't dodge. Every time I was so cruel, at the cost of my legs, let me accompany a lot of money. I swear at that time. One day I will meet the porcelain again. I will definitely kill them on the spot, to vent the hatred. So just now I saw you, brother, in the middle of the court. I didn't turn my mind. I thought you were here to touch my porcelain. I was a little excited. The Iron Man said depressed. Xylem looked at him silently. Every time you touch porcelain at the cost of your legs? Damn your uncle. Do you want to be so cruel? Forget it. As a demonized person, I won't be difficult for you. Xylem said. After all, the little brother born with his power as an opportunity was so miserable. Shillong was really embarrassed to pinch him to death at will. By the way, you don't seem to know me? Question mark. The Iron Nugget was taken aback for a moment. How could this topic be transferred elsewhere? Although he was surprised, the Iron Man still honestly said, "No. I'm sorry. I really don't know you." Yeah. Xylem nodded. This is normal. After all, if they knew each other, the other party would not have the guts to bump into him. At the same time, Xylem looked at the soldier on the opposite side and asked, Do any of you know me? The city guards were taken aback. I don't know. They don't know why Shillong asked. How about you? Asylum asked young Lily and the driver again. They all shook their heads blankly. Then Shillong looked at the phone in Lily's hand again. With his eyesight, he can naturally see everything above. With 2.45 million people, he is a big anchor. This woman seemed to be of some use. Shillong thought of a lot of things. He looked at Lily and said, Woman, you can ask if anyone in your live broadcast room knows me. Lily heard that. Although she didn't know what Shillong wanted to do, she still asked. But the barrage in the live broadcast room was too messy, and she couldn't ask anything. He was not disappointed with this Shillong. He smiled lightly and said, Introduce myself. I am Duan Tianhao. Before demonization, he should be considered a senior mage in the game. So someone should know me, right? Duan Tianhao? That first mage? The only son of the world's top 500? The one known as Brother Hao, the emperor of the magic city? Lily's mouth opened wide in surprise, and a series of information about Brother Hao almost instinctively spit out. Shillong was silent for a moment. I didn't see it. This Hao brother is actually quite good, and I don't know if this Hao brother is mine. But he won't bother with this question, but nodded, Yes, it's me. So you are Brother Hao. I said how ugly when others are demonized, but you are so handsome after being demonized. So majestic. Such a woman admires. Turns out to be Brother Hao. No wonder. Lily, this woman was excited, and at this moment she wanted to run directly to Shillong and hug her thigh.
Loving the audiobooks? Your support on Patreon helps me keep them coming. Check out the link in the description. A huge thank you for your support. Now, let's dive into the next chapter.
Chapter 298. But the driver's eldest brother beside her quickly grabbed her. You don't want to die? After finishing speaking, he also used his eyes to signal the surrounding former stars and striped city guards. Oh, thank you, brother. Lily only recovered a little calmly, wiping the cold sweat that she had just exploded. Then he said to Brother Hao, How are you, Brother Ha? I am Lily from Shark TV. I am really lucky to see you in this life. Yeah. Asylum nodded. He also thought that it was her luck that an ant could recognize herself. You are actually Duan Tianhao? It's really pitiful. A good person is not right. So you want to be a demonized monster. The captain of the city guard said solemnly, Now I give you 3 choices. First, obediently follow us back for treatment. Second, we were knocked down and tied back to receive treatment. Third, we were killed on the spot. Which one do you choose? Treatment? Asylum smiled. Who are you lying to? Demonization changes human beings genetically. When you are demonized, you are no longer human, no matter from any aspect, unless your technology has developed enough to extract the soul, extract my soul, and inject it into another intact body. But I don't think you have this ability. Shillong said mercilessly. So, you have to choose 3? No. The strong never choose multiple choice questions given by the weak. And there is no doubt that I am the strong, and you are the weak. Soren's voice just fell, and his figure disappeared completely with a scream, accompanied by a few clicks. Shillong's figure returned to its original position again. The city guards who threatened him with guns before suddenly realized that the guns in their hands were much lighter, and looked down. Half of the rifle in his hand is gone. Like being cut by a sharp blade, the entire section is smooth and strange. What's going on? It's speed. I used the speed that you weak people couldn't react at all, and then cut your rifle with the palm of my hand. Asylum explained. Now your minds that are not so good should be clearer, right? The city guards were a little surprised. If they cut their necks just now, aren't they dead? The kind without any resistance? Okay, so handsome. Lily actually felt a little wet at this time. Oh my god, why haven't I met such a handsome and manly man before? Those licking dogs can't compare with Brother Hao. It seems that you already understand your incompetence. Asylum laughed. The gates on the opposite side looked gloomy and stopped talking. The topic goes back to before. Shillong walked towards Lily slowly. Lily, who was shooting all the time, saw Shillong coming, and her breathing became short. Hey, why did Brother Hao come to me? Does he want it? But so many people? How could I promise him? Talk to me quietly if you want. I turned off the live broadcast. Let's choose a quiet place. My whole person is yours. Lily had been thinking about it, and Shillong had come closer. This made her have to remind her in a low voice. Brother Hao, there are so many people here. It's not good. Huh. Asylum was taken aback, and then frowned. What's inconvenient? I do things like being upright. Do it in front of everyone. Let everyone see. Remember to keep the camera at me later. Huh. Lily was stunned. Do it in front of everyone? Will this be too exciting? I'm not ready yet. At the same time, her heart turned like electricity. Is this too fast? Probably not. It is Brother Hao after all. Where can I find such a good quality man? And he is so big and strong after being demonized. I have never experienced it. But he actually wants me to take selfies with my mobile phone on the live broadcast platform? Is he abnormal? How to do? Do you want to refuse? Lily's heart was full of hesitation, but Xylem went straight to her mobile phone, and a deterrent dragon face appeared in front of the screen, which still surprised many viewers slightly. Dear viewers, now I am Duan Tianhao. I want to announce a very important thing here. Please listen carefully. Shillong's eyes were fixed on the screen. From now on, when the sun rises on the 7th day, the great dragon god, His Majesty Shillong Soderberg, will descend on the holy city of the Alliance. Accepting the great mission of the ruling alliance, I sincerely hope that everyone will surrender under his command. Accept his rule and protect. Mortals are fragile, of course ordinary. Don't try to stop the truth. It's like a man's arm is a car. Funny. Members of the coalition are also asked to accept the reality, and only surrender is the best choice. The great God is blessing mankind, and only new mankind with power is the future of mankind. Shillong said that there was already a large swath of insults on the barrage, such as, Duan Tianhao of Go Ri, traitor, have a father and no mom to raise, etc., etc., and Lily, who had recovered from her delusion, felt tight when she saw these barrage. Hold the grass. You bastards. Scolding brother Hao like this, he started to rush. You are all right. Will I be unscrewed by him? When she thought so, she got wet again. I was scared this time. Shillong's nose is very good. He frowned and looked at Lily, then showed a contemptuous look. He knew what Lily was worried about. But he is not brother Hao Shillong. Brother Hao was scolded as a traitor. He has a dime relationship with Shillong. He even felt a huge resentment from the squeezed consciousness of brother Hao. But it doesn't matter. Has no effect on him. Even the city guard not far from him couldn't help cursing, Duan Tianhao, you bastard. You were a human before. Now you are actually speaking for a foreign creature? This is the real world, not the world of Dora's tomb. Your Majesty the dragon. Never come here. Even if it comes, we will destroy it too. Oh. Shillong raised his eyebrows. It seems that you don't know yet. The dragon god has already descended in this world, and you still have illusions. You should quickly throw away the stupid idea that he can't come. You only need to wait quietly for 7 days to accept the rule of the dragon god. Don't worry, the dragon god is not a savage god. As long as everyone respects the dragon god, he will not hurt the innocent. The 9-year compulsory education, the great dragon god still understands. What are you talking about? The magic dragon has descended into this world? The captain heard Shillong's meaning and was shocked. Even the weird Lily was surprised. Yes, the high level among you humans should have received the news. His Majesty the dragon god who appeared in some sea area did not act immediately, just giving you the last time to accept the reality. So you have no choice but to surrender. Or do you think you can fight against the dragon god? Let me tell you a piece of news. The power of your Majesty the dragon god is not just those manifested in the world of Dora's tomb. The corners of Shillong's mouth curled up slightly, showing a wicked smile. It looks like a hatred. Let the keyboard men on the barrage scold even harder. Fight against the magic dragon. All Chengwei's hearts were tight. They asked themselves in their hearts, is that possible? The Alliance's strongest weapon, Thunder Fury, can really defeat the dragon? They have no bottom. Because of the pure white light of the dragon, they feel more terrifying than Thunder's fury. I think you all know the answer, so don't think about it and make any stupid choice. Shillong warned again. Okay, I believe these words will soon be spread across the world through the internet. By then everyone will know that you will also face the most important choice in life. Shillong finished speaking at the end, no longer watching the curses on the barrage. Afterwards, he continued to walk forward calmly, passing by Chengwei. These guys did not dare to do anything to Shillong because they had no weapons. He walked forward slowly as if aimlessly. Lily behind her is very tangled at this time. Should she follow or go home? Looking at the number of viewers, 3.5 million. Made. Fight. The old lady is for the position of the first sister. Fight with you. Part 2. Lily gritted her teeth and wanted to keep following. But the driver's brother quit. In the words of the drunk brother, I won't lick your cheap bone. He dropped Lily directly and ran away by himself. Only Lily was left to follow Shillong on foot. Fortunately, Shillong was very slow when she walked. Her head always liked to turn around and appreciate everything on the roadside. Lily even saw the nostalgia in the other's eyes. It's very strange. I walked for about 10 minutes. Lily noticed that Shillong had stopped, looked straight at a game hall, and finally walked in. She quickly followed. The game hall was still open, but as Shillong entered, the people inside screamed, and there were few left. Of course, there are still a few gangsters who are dressed up and have dragon tattoos on their arms and stayed inside. I don't know whether it is a big heart or a stupid person. Xylem walked straight to the boss of the game hall. Lily noticed that the boss was shaking very badly, and she kept swallowing. Shillong stared straight at the boss, making him more trembling, and for a while, He took out a handful of banknotes from his pants pocket. They are all 1,000 yuan alliance coins with the largest denomination. Boss, give me some game coins. Is this enough? Shillong said. Enough, enough, enough. The boss tremblingly accepted the money. Put all the game coins on the table. You take whatever you want. These are all yours. Shillong grabbed a handful of game coins and started visiting the game hall. He looked at the game consoles and the pictures above and chose a fighting game. After sitting down, one person began to play. Fighting games are not complicated, and Shillong soon started to play very well. After that, I felt that the level of AI was a bit low, but soon, a gangster sat down beside him and added a game coin. This looked very strong, and Shillong also felt some extraordinary power in his body. The gangster chose 3 roles at random. They were all female characters, and they were dressed very revealing and seductive. Both of them didn't speak, and went to war directly. After the countdown of 3 seconds, Zero wanted to control the character to jump over, and was hit by a jump kick by the gangster, and then a set of combos to knock out half of his blood. Then there was another small mistake, which was directly killed. Asylum looked at the opponent's blood bar, then glanced at his dead character, without speaking. The second character comes on stage. Less than 15 seconds. His character lay down again, and the role of the bully is still full of blood. Asylum was silent again for a while before he said, "Good playing." "Hee. It's okay. I just participated in the competition before." The replied casually, not afraid of Shillong's appearance at all. "Okay." Shillong nodded, and then the last character played. 15 seconds later. A new round. Asylum was expressionless. "No problem." 1 minute later. "Come again." 1 minute and 5 seconds later. "Carry on." 1 minute and 10 seconds later. "Come again." 20 minutes later. "Huh." A heavy gasp came from between Shillong's nose and mouth. His eyes flashed red, staring straight at the screen in front of him. His 3 characters have died, but the other party only lost 1/10 of their lives. The gap is terrible. Forget it. Stop playing. No challenge. They stood up and ignored the abnormal Shillong and left directly. Lily, who was on the side, was frightened. "Eldest brother, why are you so angry with him? After this person is demonized. Their brains are not normal. What if you go crazy? Maybe everyone present will be killed?" Lily was deeply worried. Fortunately, Shillong's hideous expression gradually returned to normal after a few deep breaths. "Damn it. I have never been so angry in this life for more than 50 years. The last time I can get angry is legendary. But now it was actually off by a gangster. Hold back. Shillong, you can't be angry with an ordinary ant." He said this to himself. Then he turned his head and looked at it. The who abused him in the game before actually had a lot of fun playing with a few other machines on a machine like a punch tester. The whole machine keeps clacking. The screen on the top of the test machine walks you world. Online the numbers keep beating. It should be the test result. Shillong walked directly and watched for a while. The who abused Shillong before said to him again, "Wanna play? I was honestly not addicted to it before. Didn't let me see the power of your demons at all. Obviously it should be very strong." The said, still showing a look of regret. "That's really a shame." Shillong's eyes twitched slightly. "Do you know how to play this stuff?" The gangster said again, "Never play it." "Hey, let me teach you. This time we will continue to compete." He seemed confident in himself. As he spoke, he stretched his arms to make the people on both sides retreat a little later. Chapter 299. Look up. Suck the gangster took a deep breath and twisted his waist. Then there was a sudden spin, and a punch was hit on the punch mat in the middle of the test machine. After the whole punch mat was punched up by the bully man, it made a loud noise and dented directly. The counter above began to jump frantically. 1508889 1348269 2696312135543960 4113. The final value stays at 4242. Looking at this number, they nodded in satisfaction. 4242 means that my fist strength has reached 4242 kilograms. How about it? Not bad. In the world of Dora's Tomb, I am a tier 6 fighter. Even in reality, it is enough to be rated as tier 5. Proudly. So awesome. Lily was slightly surprised. This is an exclamation from the heart, because there is only 1 out of 100,000 people in the 5th rank in reality. After marveling, Lily looked interested and said, "I want to try it too." As she walked over by herself, the gangster on one side naturally gave way to her. He punched it hard. The pad is not even noticeably dented. In the end, his punching power was fixed at 114. The gap is so big," Lily said with shame. "Ha ha ha, you're just a woman after all. It's good to have these. Don't you want to compare with me?" The man laughed, and the other laughed together. "It's your turn, Mr. Demon. Let me take a closer look at the strength of the demon." "Okay." Asylum nodded silently, his expression silent. Boom. No one saw his punch. When he saw it clearly, Shillong's fist had already hit the pad. The entire boxing pad was beaten into the machine. Even with his fists, all they can see is an arm. Asylum pulled out his fist silently, revealing the bare wires inside. Strands of sparks kept jumping out of it. There is no digital display on the counter, only a string. Seeing this situation, the corner of his eyes kept beating. You actually have such a great power. This boxing machine is specially prepared for fighters and can withstand 30 tons of power. You actually blown up? He felt a little cold behind his back. Fortunately, he was playing a PK game with him just now. If he was a real PK, wouldn't his head be blown with this punch? Huh. It feels a lot more comfortable. Shillong exhaled, and finally a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Out of the corner of his eye, he glanced at the chaos. The expression inside was complicated and difficult to understand. He also saw Shillong's gaze. The whole body was shaking. That game. Should I let him before? You guys, don't you want to have this kind of power? Asylum asked suddenly, the topic jumping fiercely. The gangster was taken aback, and then said, yes, I dream about this kind of power, but according to my observations, demonization is too unstable. After some people are demonized, even the symbol of man is gone. This is not the feeling of being alive. Taste. Because of this, you have given up demonization? Demonization is actually evolution. It is the gospel given to all mankind by His Majesty Silin Soderbergh, the of Dragons, and it is the only way for mankind in the future. Shaking his head, showing a look of disappointment. You guys don't know how many people desire this kind of blessing. Happiness comes, but if you ignore it, can it be sad? And those you are talking about are only small probability events. Look at me now. While still a man, he has invincible power. For me now, whether it is money, a woman, or power, am not at my fingertips. You really don't want to be like me? Are you really not willing to take any risks? Shillong persuaded several bullies. What he said, in fact, is not mainly to the gangsters, but to the people who are watching Lily's live broadcast. Those talents are Shillong's true goals. As soon as Shillong's voice fell, whether it was the few gangsters in front of him or the audience thousands of miles away, they began to think. How many levels are there in the power of this one-punch tester? 7th order? 8th order? Is it tier 9? With such strength per second, do I really want to refuse? Boom. Just as they were thinking, a huge roar sounded. An explosion occurred at the location in front of Shillong. The boxing machine that was already damaged directly turned into a huge fireball and exploded. Immediately afterwards, a series of bullets swept towards them. What? Several screams sounded, and several gangsters who had been surrounding the tester were affected. What's more, they were directly engulfed by surging bullets and died on the spot. But the Tier 5 gangster reacted swiftly and sprang out directly to the side. Although he was hit by several bullets, his life was saved. But Lily felt a cold, hard object suddenly come into contact with her body in all directions, and then a strong wind blew. When she recovered, she had appeared on the other side of the game hall, avoiding the explosion. The tall, rich and handsome in her heart, the Black Dragon Prince, How Brother, clamped her to his waist. Her face flushed instantly. Brother How, he saved me. Do you like me? Although he was indifferent before, he should be a cold-faced male god, just not good at expressing your feelings? That's right, absolutely. Is happiness coming too soon? But before she could continue to think about it, the armpit left her. Then she saw several gangsters being pressed under the rocks, and a pool of blood stained the entire pile of rocks red. There is no sound anymore. There was also a Tier 5 who was lying not far from them, with blood flowing on his legs and feet, groaning constantly. How is this going? Lily was a little surprised. The people of the Alliance launched an attack on us. They don't seem to care much about the casualties of you civilians. You, who have no power, are affected. But there is a dead end. Just like that, you still want to reject the power of the Dragon God? Have unrealistic illusions about the Alliance? Shillong looked at husband and Lily indifferently. These words are also said to the humans behind Lily's mobile phone. Brother demonized man. Help me. Please help me. I'm going to die soon. The surviving wailed. Sad mortals, the only one who can save you is your Majesty the Dragon God. Go to the pure white cave in the world of Dora's tomb. Only those who gain strength can survive in the next world. Shillong's voice just fell. Boom. There was another huge roar. The front and back walls of his location were blasted open again. A dense burst of gunfire sounded. The entire game hall house began to collapse. The unfortunate was killed by subsequent firepower on the spot. Shillong used Lily in his arms to escape the attack again. The figure flashed and appeared on the street. It has been surrounded by dozens of armored vehicles. The black muzzles aimed at Shillong. There were also flying fighters, staying in the air, with weapons aimed at him. And hundreds of sergeants gathered here. At the moment Shillong's figure appeared, hundreds of mechanical artillery fired. In the dim night, the fire was transparent. The sound of booming became one piece. Shillong controlled Hao's body to maximize the speed and killed him to the left. His reaction speed is extremely amazing, even under the coverage of this super firepower. Although it is impossible to avoid them all. But he has the ability to distinguish the bullet's attack trajectory, and he can easily avoid high-power bullets and protect Lily under his arm. Only let small-caliber machine gun rifles and other bullets hit yourself. The power of these bullets was not enough to threaten Shillong's current body. Just as Shillong was about to attack those small bullets, some small bullets exploded. A big barbed wire net came to him. He wanted to dodge to the side, but at the same time, there were bullets that burst into iron nets in all directions. Let him have no way to avoid it. There was surprise in his eyes, and he didn't even think that the other party had this kind of black technology. It was these big nets that blocked Shillong's actions instantly, even if it was only 0.1 second. Part 2. All subsequent artillery fire is enough to pour all over him. Rumble. The huge smoke drowned everything instantly. But they haven't waited for the besieged guys to be happy. Roar. A huge dragon roar sounded. All the smoke was dispersed instantly. Just hearing this dragon roar, 80% of the city guards present felt a huge pressure. Pung 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 pung. The heart beats so fast. The body can't use strength. Stiff hands and feet. Various negative states gush out from the body. The originally intensive artillery fire instantly went silent. The fighter plane flying in the sky fell crookedly towards the ground, and soon turned into a flame with a roar in the distance. But everyone has no time to bother about these explosive fighters. They all cast their eyes to the middle of the field. There was a dragon with red scales all over there. Who is he? Is it the demon Dragon King? Why does it appear here? Will we die? A whole bunch of questions popped up in their minds. You did a good job, the dragon said, and actually started to praise them. After I was exposed, only through a single battle, a combat plan specifically aimed at me was worked out. In ordinary bullets, who would have thought of having a wire mesh that is stronger and more flexible than ordinary steel? As long as this net can hold me for even 0.1 second, endless bombing can also make me lose half my life. It's a good battle plan. You are Duan Tianhao? But how could you become like this? A city guard could not help but be shocked after hearing Ciro's words and analyzing a little. Shillong didn't reply directly, but glanced at Lily, who was protected behind his forelegs. This woman was scared to death just now. Had it not been for Shillong who needed her temporarily and had protected her, she would have died in the first place. At this moment Lily was leaning on Shillong's hind limbs. She glanced at the shadow that obscured him in a daze, then glanced at the giant dragon eye looking at him. She was shaking all over. Dragon, 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 dragon. She screamed, standing up and trying to escape. But Shillong's eyes flashed red, and Lily, who was panicking before, seemed to be lost, holding her mobile phone to shoot at Chengwei. Until then, Shillong turned his gaze back to Chengwei and said, Duan Tianhao? That's right. I am Duan Tianhao. As for why I became like this? Of course it is because I got the power of the dragon god. Envy? Jealous? In front of this kind of power, you are just like ants. Your proud tanks, fighters, can't hurt me at all. Shillong was talking, and a huge dragon claw protruded, pinching a chariot directly in the claw. A heavy object of dozens of tons is as light as a doll in his claws. Only you. Want to be an enemy of God? Tell you the truth. The power of your majesty the dragon god is 100 times greater than mine. More than 1,000 times. If you can't even defeat me, then wanting to defeat the dragon god is even more wishful thinking. Dream. We should also have a realistic dream. Shillong spoke and pressed his claws. Under the horrified gaze of all the guards, the armored fighting vehicle weighing dozens of tons began to deform like a can. The horrible sound of clicks kept ringing. Strands of blood began to seep from the damaged holes. That is the blood of the driver inside. Too weak, Shillong then shook the tank hard. Boom. The chariot that had turned into garbage, an iron blasted directly into a group of city guards holding guns. The huge power made the iron block instantly hit the foremost guard, and then because of the posture of the dragon throwing, slide 100 meters against the ground. And where this iron block crossed, it's a long tunnel. There are corpses and blood all inside. All the city guards were full of fear, and they would die if they stayed like this. We'll die. Some people wanted to escape, but because of the stiffness of their hands and feet, they fell directly to the ground, and then they were unwilling to squirm with their bodies. That's right. Only by running away can you survive. They don't want to die. This kind of power. Do you want it? Tell me. Do you want it? Silem's voice suddenly rose, like a roar. The huge sound waves shook some people's eardrums to severe pain. Wuxiaworld.online, and some even bleed directly. The surrounding glass was shattered to pieces. Tell me. Mortals. Silem roared again, his huge eyes staring fiercely at the crowd crawling on the ground. "Want? I want this kind of power," a voice roared. Shillong and the others raised their eyes and saw a human being collapsed on the ground, crying loudly as they burst into tears. "I want it. I also want the power of the dragon god." Very good, very good." Shillong laughed. His eyes swept other human beings. "Don't you want it? This kind of power? Obviously I was just like you before, an ordinary person, but now? I am the god who can dominate your lives." I want too," another yelled. "Yes, I want this kind of power too. Even if you don't be a human, even if you become a monster, I want it too." More and more people shouted. Plutonium Dragon Field, Plutonium Dragon Field. Chapter 300, latest website. They are so envious of Shillong's power. Ordinary people like them before. After the power of the Dragon King mutated, now they have turned into a monster like a myth. They completely ignored the technological weapons they rely on to dominate the world. The guns turned into a joke in front of him. The armored tank has become a toy. If the fighter plane cannot even get close, it will crash directly because of the driver's coma. What a terrible power is this? What envy is it again? Very good. Go if you want. Go to the pure white cave in the world of Dora's tomb. Don't you all understand? The devilish voice sounded again. Yes, I understand. I want this kind of power. A guard muttered to himself, lying directly on the icy ground and entering the world of Dora's tomb. Others followed suit, and the dilapidated streets quieted strangely. It's like lying full of corpses. Yes, that's how it should be. The stupid people of the Alliance. If you want to resist the divine will, if you want to test my power, just come directly. I'm Duan Tianhao, waiting for you here. I will show you how stupid you are. After Shillong finished speaking, he walked slowly along the street like a walk. Long Wei was restrained by him. Also put away at the same time, there is also the obsessive spell for Lily. After Lily was sober, she recalled everything that happened just now, especially the conversation between Shillong and Cheng Wei. Let him know that the previous brother, Hao, has become the dragon in front of him. He glanced at the city guard who was falling asleep, then glanced at his mobile phone screen. Lily found herself in the audience. At this time, it has exceeded 10 million, and it is still increasing. All her blisters burst out. "My old lady's dosha sister, be steady." The barrage took off, so she didn't rush to take a closer look. Most of those barrages are marveling at Duan Tianhao's power. There are very few who are lamenting Lily's boldness. This kind of power opened the door to a new world for them. Before, they didn't think that mortals could have such power. Although many people have seen a lot, among them, the power is higher than this, and there are even those who pinch the stars of the universe. But that is just a story. It's farting. It's bragging. Just go and blow. I will blow too. Everyone didn't take the bragging seriously. However, although the power displayed in front of them at this moment is not so exaggerated, it is undoubtedly challenging their cognition. This is the most real power. Everyone was very scared to see Shillong ravaging the city guard at will. But after hearing his temptation, he became excited. That kind of power, no one does not want. But at this moment, the shortcut of this kind of power is in front of you. How can there be no reason to be unmoved? The world has become more chaotic. Many ordinary people who were still hesitating had just tried to demonize them directly in the world of Dora's tomb, and far away in the holy city. In a certain white palace that symbolizes power, the 8 most distinguished members of the League are gathering at this time. All the MPs looked solemnly at everything on the big screen in front of them. There was a scene broadcast from Dosha TV. One of the middle-aged men with a slightly fat figure and sparse hair said, "My dear friends, let's talk about it. What do you think of what happened just now? I am surprised that an ordinary human being can mutate such terrifying power. I am even more worried that my soldiers will not be able to withstand the temptation of this power." Among the congressmen, a thin old man said, "Yes, this is very scary." Those soldiers, obviously all well-trained former Star-Stripe warriors, are now bewildered one by one by the power of the dragon. "I feel sad for them," the chubby congressman said. "I feel very angry." Suddenly, a voice said. The other congressmen cast their gazes over. It was a short and small congressman. He patted the table angrily. "We are actually watching Shark TV, a live broadcast platform? Our former star bar is the greatest. Where are the reporters? Shouldn't they be the bravest?" The congressman was silent. The fat congressman who spoke first frowned. "Congressman Morgan, now is not the time to make a joke. Please be serious." "I'm not kidding. Representative Trang, both you and I are former Stars and Stripes. Even 5 of the members sitting are former Stars and Stripes. Are you not angry? The broadcast we are watching now is not Star Stripes. Reporters broadcast. What kind of TV is it?" Morgan said angrily. "All right, you idiot. You can be quiet." The red light in Senator Trang's eyes flashed, and he glared at Senator Morgan. Senator Morgan's indignant expression immediately solidified, and the whole person fell silent. The state is weird, but everyone else seems to have not seen it. Everyone. The betrayer wants us to surrender. What do you think? I want to hear everyone's truest thoughts. Representative Trang continued. It is impossible to surrender. Yes. We can't be servants of the dragon. Yes. We still have millions of troops. How can we lose to the monsters in Dora's tomb world? So, what should we do next? Of course they sent troops directly to destroy the dragon. I think we should directly dispatch Thunder Fury to kill the arrogant dragon. That's impossible. There are still so many people in the city. Under the impact of Thunder Fury, at least hundreds of thousands of people will die. Who will bear this responsibility? Responsibility? Why are you responsible? Isn't it enough to leave the responsibility to the evil dragon? I think we may be able to subdue Duan Tianhao and let him help us deal with the evil dragon in the future. Subdue? How could this be possible? Look at his crazy appearance, and you really worship the dragon as an ancestor. A group of people discussed for a long time, and finally Trang decided on a plan. Afterwards, they dispersed. After returning to his room, Tron twisted his body and turned into a handsome young man. He silently stared at himself in the mirror and said softly, Shillong Soderberg, I will never lose to you. Whether in the world of Dora's tomb or in the real world, I am the absolute master. No creature can change. The whole parliament is my one word. I will make you regret coming to this world. In the days that followed, the entire holy city was overcast, with blue-violet lightning shining in the clouds from time to time, and as time passed, it became more and more dazzling. Something seems to be brewing. The residents of the holy city began to flee in large numbers. The 7-day preview of Duan Tianhao is not a joke. No one dares to use his own life to test the true or false of the other party's notice. Lily continued to quietly follow Shillong's huge body and patted. In the ensuing time, there were also other desperate guys who hung behind Shillong and kept shooting. Lily's traffic makes some who are not afraid of death jealous, which also diverts a lot of traffic from Lily, making her hateful teeth itchy. After that, Shillong did not encounter any danger for the first 2 days, but from the 3rd day onwards, he would encounter large-scale combat attacks every day. There are ultra-long-range missile bombings and swarms of fighter jets. None of these can cause much damage to his current body. One after another armor-piercing projectile blasted out, the dragon would not be attacked like a fool. Even the long-range laser weapon that the Alliance is proud of is deflated. Perhaps it was because Shillong was found to be uncomfortable, and the army slowly stopped sending city guards to test. In the past day, Shillong discovered that his point of faith had actually become more than 900,000. The gain of faith points is increasing every day. This is also one of Silem's purposes, to use Duan Tianhao's identity to allow ordinary people to see the future of the demonized person, tempted by strength. This is a man's favorite thing. In a society where there is no supernatural power, or a society where the supernatural power is not strong enough. Power, money, beauty. Part 2. Shillong is still hard to judge which ordinary people like best. But if the supernatural force is strong enough, one person can fight against an army and destroy a city. Shillong believes that 9 out of 10 men will choose power without hesitation. The other choices are nothing but clouds in the face of power. As a result, the world of Dora's tomb that Shillong lost control was completely messed up. At least 30% of players in the world have entered the world of Dora's tomb and attacked the pure white cave guarded by the NPC. Even with the combat power of NPC, it can't resist the impact of more than 10 million players. How many NPC troops can there be? They are not like players, they are all soldiers. The number of people on both sides is at least 10 times different. No matter how strong a tier 10 power is, it can't stop this gap in force. So these hapless guys were killed by the players. Then their equipment was exploded by the player. Well, it's different from dying in Shillong's hands. According to the rules, all NPCs will explode after they die in the hands of the player. The clothes, pants, weapons, and cheats that might fall are all taken away by the players. After the players tasted the sweetness, it was even more messy. More and more people join in. Kill those NPCs and kill them. Only then did the NPC understand the horror of these destiny. They prayed to God, hoping that God would end the turmoil, but their God did not respond to them. Let them gradually despair. The world of Dora's tomb has completely fallen, in a situation that neither Shillong nor Milbo expected. In fact, Milbo has been very uncomfortable these days. Although he could not know the situation of Dora's tomb world, but he is concerned about the acquisition of belief points. The drastically lowered beliefs all showed that there was a big problem in the world of Dora's tomb. His heart is very confused, but there is no way. He knows that the source of everything is the magic dragon Shillong Soderberg. Only by killing him can everything return to its original path. On the last 2nd day of the 7 days, the helicopter flew from a distance. Just when Shillong thought they were also reporters from a certain TV station, The large helicopter parked directly tens of meters away from Shillong and opened the windows. A pair of middle-aged men and women were exposed inside. This pair of middle-aged men and women are not bad in appearance. Men are handsome and elegant, and women are graceful and luxurious. But at this time their expressions were a little anxious. There is also a big speaker in his hand. When Shillong's huge dragon eyes glanced at them, the middle-aged man immediately shouted, "You? Are you Tianhao?" Xylem glanced at the middle-aged man in surprise. Is it Duan Tianhao's acquaintance? Thinking about this, he quickly contacted the deity Duan Tianhao, who was forced into the corner by him and his body. This guy is now full of resentment in his soul. But facing Shillong's questioning, he didn't dare to hide it. So Shillong learned the identity of the middle-aged woman, Duan Tianhao's father and mother. His eyesight was very good, and he could see that the soldier behind them was holding a gun against both of them. Obviously, the old couple was coerced over. For this reason, Duan Tianhao begged Xylem to save his parents. Well, Shillong agreed. After all, he is a good dragon. No matter what others think, he himself thinks so anyway. If he can treat his subordinates well, he still tries his best to be kind. Anyway, he has no loss. It's me. Xylem answered Duan's question. You? Why did you become like this? Magic, don't you still know it? Xylem's answer has always been cold. After all, it is Duan Tianhao's father, not his father. He was not polite enough to respect his subordinate's father. My child, you have become so big now, how can you find a wife in the future? Duan Tianhao's mother shouted with anxiety, looking at Shillong. Xylem's face was dumbfounded. Other people's expressions also changed. Damn it, sister, aren't you? Seeing your own monster son, the first reaction was how to find a wife? Especially Duan Tianhao's father, and the city guards behind him, were even more surprised. This woman, obviously held by a gun, can still think about such a big thing, and her heart is big enough. Xylem looked at Duan Ma silently, and Duan Ma stared straight at Shillong's eyes without any fear at all. Boy, you talk. It will always be like this from now on. Isn't our old Duan family going to be the last? Your father has no such ability now. Now I can only rely on you to pass on from generation to generation. You can't have an accident. Father Duan took a sharp breath. Wuxia world. Online his complexion suddenly changed. You? When he pointed his finger at his mother-in-law, he felt uncomfortable to speak. Out of the corner of his eye, he glanced at the photography equipment on other helicopters. Trembling, you woman, what are you talking about? I don't have any problems at all. Who is talking nonsense? You old thing. You can't do it if you are only in your early 40s. Say, isn't it absorbed by which fox in your company? Go back to sleep with your head covered every day. What is it? Duan Tianhao's mother said stubbornly. Obviously the temperament is quite good, but speaking, it has nothing to do with the temperament. Is this the legendary quiet like a virgin, moving like a crazy rabbit?
Thanks for watching. You can find the next videos in the playlist linked in the info card or directly on my channel. And as always, if you have any feedback, feel free to share it in the comments too.